Welcome to Mishna Salem Masechet Shabbat Perek Aleph Mishnah Aleph. As we mentioned, the first Mishnah is going to speak about carrying on Shabbat from one domain to the next, from Reshut Rabim to Reshut Yahid and vice versa. And we're going to speak about what we're going to call an Ani and a Baal Bayit, right? A poor person and a homeowner, right? It's basically saying someone who's standing outside, that's the Ani. It's just a lot shorter language to say Ani, a poor person, and someone who's standing inside, and that's going to be the homeowner. So if you have an Ani, right, you have a poor person outside and the homeowner inside, right? The Ani is in Reshut Rabim, the homeowner is in Reshut Yahid, and we're going to speak about transferring from one place to the next, right? It's going to be, right, Hamotzim Reshut Reshut, carry from one Reshut to the next. That is one of the melachot. And this will be based on Yitziot HaShabbat, right? It opens like Yitziot HaShabbat, Shtayim Shem Arba Bifnim, Shtayim Shem Arba Bachutz, right? Two that is for inside, two that is for outside. Now, where do we learn this from? From the Pasuk in Shemot, when they were bringing everything to the Mishkan, right? Moshe says, Ish ve'isha li'asu od melacha l'Torah HaKodesh v'yikareh ha'am me'avi, right? That's it, don't bring any more, and everyone stopped bringing. Now, what were they bringing? They were bringing everything that they had for the Mishkan, and they were bringing it from their tents to the Mahane Leviyah, right, to the camp of the Leviim, right, and that is carrying from the Reshut Yahid, from their own tents, bringing it to the Reshut Rabim of the Mahane Leviyah, and that's considered, right, the Hachnasa, right, or the, really, right, Hotza'ah. They're really bringing it outside into the Reshut Rabim, and that's considered the melacha of hotzah, from carrying from one reshut to the next. And hachnasa is considered the same, right? Bringing it in or bringing it out, right? The Gemara says that it's really two of the same, right? It's really just going vice versa, right? It's just going in the opposite direction. Now, we're going to start with the Pirush, right? What is this Yetziot HaShabbat, right? It's carrying on Shabbat. So it's two that are four. Now, what does this mean, two that are four? So there's two, right? There's two directions that you go in. There's Hachnasa and Hotza'ah, right? You take it from Reshut Rabim to Reshut Yahid, right? That's the Hachnasa. And you take it from Reshut Yahid to Reshut Rabim. That's the Hotza'ah, taking it out, taking it in and taking it out. That's the Shtayim. Those are the two ways you could take it. There's two directions, right? Shehem Arba. What's the Shehem Arba? So there's, they fall into four, right? Four categories. One, right? Four for a person standing outside, and four for the person that's standing inside, right? And we'll see how this plays out, right? There are four that are talui, right? It's based on the actions of the person, of the ani standing outside, and four that are based on the actions of the person standing inside. And this is how our Mishnah is going to flow, right? So the Shtayim Shem Arba, according to Rambam, the two is Hachnasa and Hotza'ah. Shem Arba, there's four outside and four inside. This is not like Bartunura, just parenthetically. Bartunura says it's two that are Doraita that end up being four when you add the other Dirabanan, right? So it's an interesting, very interesting reading, different. And Rambam is Shtayim is Hachnasa and Hotza'ah, that ends up being four for each, right? Four for the Ani and four for the Baal Bayit. So how so? And that's going to be the next Mishnah, Ketzad, that we're going to go into. Now, before we just get into it, Rambam points out that there's important principles, three important principles that we need to know before we really jump into understanding this Mishnah. And what's that? Firstly, we need to know that a person is only going to be hayav, right, obligated, right, right, if he goes ahead and he picks up, right, he picks up something from one reshut, right, and he places it down in the other reshut, right? I pick it up in reshut yahid and I put it down in reshut rabim. It needs to be in akira and in haraha, right? Both of them, right? Picking up and putting down. It's not enough to just do picking up without putting it down, or you can't just put it down without picking it up. It's pick up and put down for it to be a chayav. The second principle that we need to know, and that is that a person needs to do something himself. He needs to do the whole melacha himself. Let's say the melacha was only completed with two people, right? Let's say I picked something up and someone else put it down for me. Okay, then we're both going to be patur. That's called shnaim sha'asa'ua peturim, right? Two people that do it, right? The only person you're talking about hayav is ha'osed kula v'lo ha'osed miksata, right? A person is going to be hayav in melachat Shabbat if he does the entire thing, not if he does part of it. The example Harambam brings over here is, let's say a person is writing, he wants to write the word av, right? Aleph bet, right? I write the word aleph, you write the letter bet. You're gonna say, okay, who's hayav? I started it, you finished it, right? You finished the word. No, neither of us hayav. We're both patur. Now it's asur, right? Patur of asur. You're not allowed to do so, right? But you're not going to be hayav a hatat for it. Now, what's the third principle that he opens with? And that is a person is not going to be obligated from picking something up or putting something down unless it's on something that is 4 by 4 tefachim, right? That's considered makom hashub. That's considered something that's important, right? If I pick something up, put it on a table, right? That's 4 tefachim by 4 tefachim, right? 16 inches by 16 inches. That's considered, something important. That's a plate sturdy, right? But when it comes to if I put it down on a something that's only a tefach wide, that may not hold. That's not considered, something, a place to put something down on. And if you do so, you wouldn't be liable, except our Mishnah. Our Mishnah is going to speak about placing something down in somebody's hand. Now, somebody's hand is not 4 tefachim wide, right? On the contrary, it's 1 tefach wide. And we're going to say that a person is going to be hayav in this case. Why would they be hayav if you place something, right? I pick something up in Reshut Yachid. I go, I stretch my hand outside and I put it down in someone's hand who's outside Reshut Rabim. Okay, I picked it up from in one domain. I placed it down in another. So I have the akira and the hanacha. I'm picking up and putting it down. I transferred Reshuyot. I moved from Reshut Yachid to the Reshut Rabim, and I placed it down. But that place I put it down was in someone's hand. Someone's hand's not 4 by 4 tvachim. Oh, but we say over here, a person's hand is considered 4 by 4 tvachim. Why? Because it's able to do the same thing, and that is because a person's hand is flexible, right? And it could hold something, right? Because the hand itself, right, moves and it's able to grab something. Therefore, it has the same status as something that's 4 by 4 tefachim. Now, we're going to jump into the Mishnah and speak about all these 8 cases of when, a person is going to be hayav and patur. So, ketzad, how so? The poor person is standing outside and the balabayit is inside. Pashat ha'ani et yado difnim, v'natan letoch yado shel balabayit. So what happened? The ani goes and he places his hand inside, right? The ani is standing outside, right? And he goes and he places his hand inside the house. And natan letoch yado shel ba'al habayit, right? So he picks something up from outside. He goes inside and he places it down. Okay, he did the picking up and putting down, right? He's going to be hayav. Or he picks something up from outside, brings it from inside, brings it outside, and puts it down. In both those cases, the ani is going to be hayav for what he did, because he did akira and hanacha from Reshut Yachid to Reshut Rabim, and the Baal Habayit is going to be patur. The Baal Habayit is patur in this case, and this is one of the cases where he's patur umutar. He didn't do anything, right? The Baal Habayit who was standing aside, he didn't do anything. He was practically an idol, right? He didn't do anything. He just stood there. The next case is Pashat Baal Habayit yado lachutz, right? The owner of the home stuck his hand outside, right? So over here, he went and put it, he put his hand outside, he placed it in the ani's hand, or so he took something up from the ani's hand, bring it inside and put it down. The Baal Habayit is going to be hayav because he did akira and hanacha and transferring from one reshut to the next, and the ani is going to be patur because he didn't do anything, right? And again, patur umutar. The next 2 cases, right? So those are the 2 deoraita. Right, those are the 2 cases where it's going to be hayav. Right, that's the first. The ani was hayav. Then we spoke about the Baal Habayit that was hayav. Now we're going to move on to the dirabanan cases. What are they? Pashat ani et yado lifnim. The ani goes right, and he places his hand inside. Right, he picks up something from outside. Right, picks something from outside. He goes in, but he opens his hand. He doesn't put it down. And what happens? The Baal Habayit comes and takes it, right, and puts it down inside. So what happened? The ani did the akira, but the Baal Habayit did the hanacha. Right? The ani picked it up, but the Baal Habayit was the one that placed it down in the next to the shoot. Or vice versa. Or the ani went ahead and put something in the Baal Habayit's hand when the Baal Habayit's hand was stretched outside. Right? The ani picked something up, put the item down in the Baal Habayit's hand while the Baal Habayit's hand was stretched outside, and the Baal Habayit was the one that put it down inside. Again, so the ani did the akira, and the Baal Habayit did the hanacha. Shenehem peturim. They're both patur. Now over here it's patur al asur. right? Because they both did half of the melacha. Each one did, half of it. The next case is Pashat Ba'al Bayit et yado lachutz, right? The owner stuck his hand outside, but the ani came and he picked it up from the Ba'al Bayit's hand. So the Ba'al Bayit picked something up, and the ani was the one that placed it down. Or the Ba'al Bayit put it in the ani's hand. Right, sorry, the ani put something in the Ba'al Bayit's hand, and the Ba'al Bayit brought his hand inside. Again, the ani did akira, the Ba'al Bayit did hanacha. Shenehem peturim. They're both patur, and as we mentioned, it's patur of asur. These are the 8 cases, right, that we mentioned. Right, these are the 8 cases. 4 are deoraita, 4 are derabanan, and these are, as we'll see, 8 cases of potentially, right? 4 of them would be hayav for, the other 4 you'd be patura v'asur, but these are 8 cases where you'd be transferring, right, from one domain to another, which will be asur to do. The next Mishnah we're going to speak about interesting gezerot, which are unrelated to Shabbat, and we'll see how it ties in shortly.